All right, guys, welcome to another Driver Motorsports video, and today is going to be the first episode of this Y33 Gloria. This is not just any Gloria. We're going to be turning this thing into a drift car. We met Alex at SEMA last year. We talked to him.
Me, baby. I'm Alex. Alex.Martini with 2 underscores. 2! Damn it!
Gave him our business card, and then he contacted us, and this is what we ended up doing. So we're going to be taking this 1996 Nissan Gloria Gran Turismo Ultima. So this thing has the VG30 DET motor in it, which has plenty of power in stock form, especially to go sideways. It has the factory aero. Still needs to be polished and detailed and all that, but that is the last thing that we do. It is a sunroof car, which is pretty cool. It's got the sunroof view here under the hood. VG30 DET, hard to see in here because it's so dark. We do have a couple little bolt-on things that we're going to be doing under here, but we'll talk about that more here in just a few minutes. So the first part of this video is basically going to be of this series, I guess, is really just going to be talking about what we're going to be doing to it. But it's a really cool car. They make a bunch of power. It has the factory aero. I don't know if I already mentioned that, but it's like the coolest factory aero for a Nissan car. You can fight me on that because it's true. I mean, look at those side skirts and rear valances that are stock.
Well, that rear valance is actually the walled kit on this.
Is it?
Yep. It doesn't have
Oh, shoot. That's right. It doesn't have spats. It has a full...
Yep.
I didn't know that. All right. So moving on over here. Here is where we're going to talk about some of our plans. This is most of the parts for the build, and we have pretty much everything. So as you can see here, CD, we're going 6-speed. So this being a VQ based motor, CD will bolt pretty much exactly right up to it. So the first step in this build, and I don't know how much of this will make it into this video, is going to be to pull the factory transmission and drive shaft out, get a new flywheel and clutch, and get this mounted in here. Into that, we can see where our shifter hole is going to line up. We already have a shifter from GK Tech that's going to relocate to a shorter position, and I mean, that is reason enough to buy the GK Tech shifter alone, the brass versus the plastic. So that is going in the car. A couple other big things that we need to do is figure out our drive shaft links. So that's why that is the first step, is to get this transmission in here. So you can see here we've got a Clutch Masters flywheel and clutch ready to go in it. We've got a KAZ 2-way rear diff, and we've got our pedals and our master. And we're doing a remote reservoir, which is Devin's doing, just so that it makes it a little bit easier as far as running lines and things like that. We've got a cold air intake that's going on it, and then we've got all of our S13 suspension parts. So we're going to be converting this not only for angle purposes, but actually that's the only reason we're doing this. So we're converting it to S13 front suspension. A lot of you guys have asked. We've talked about it in the past, but we're actually going to show you how to do it in this video, what parts you need. And it's actually really simple. You need S13, S14 lower control arms. You need some knuckles. You need some Maxima tie rod end links and some 5-lug hubs for your spindles. So that's pretty much it. There's a whole lot of other stuff that we're going to be doing to this, but follow along while we turn this car into a drift car.
Alrighty guys, so I'm taking over. We are gonna work on dropping out the automatic trans right now. As you can see, she's all auto. We're gonna go ahead and swap over to the CD009 as Dan just said. And while we're there, we're gonna go ahead and do rear main seal. I'm gonna show you guys the process here in a sec. So, number 1, we're gonna disconnect the drive shaft, get that out of the way, disconnect the shifting linkage up there, disconnect all the transcooler lines, and then we are going to take out all of the trans bolts. And well, before we take out the trans bolts, I've got to take out the torque converter bolts, and then the trans bolts, and then trans mount, And while we're doing all this, I'm gonna go ahead and take down the exhaust as well, because he's going with a custom exhaust by yours truly. But yeah, if I find any hiccups, I will let you guys know. But I just want to give you guys a little do-it-yourselfer tip, just in case you guys have never done this. When you take out a trans in an auto, you see that little bolt right there? That holds the torque converter to the flywheel. So there's normally a dust cover here. I'll show it to you guys in a second. But you want to pop this dust cover off and take off those bolts. Normally there's an even number. It's rarely odd, but before you go take the trans off, make sure you got all of them. And just to keep in mind, engines turn clockwise. So, I mean, not that it really matters, right, Josh?
Doesn't matter.
But just go clockwise. As you guys just saw, I just removed the factory flywheel. We've got the Clutch Masters clutch and flywheel to go in. We will be using ARP hardware. Just want to show you guys something real quick. Typical for these VQs is the rear main to be leaking and this oil pan seal to be leaking. I will show you guys how to replace those. While you're in here, just go ahead and do it. Do it right. Get it done. Get it out of the way. What you got, Josh?
Some bread. Getting my butt whooped over here. So here we are, professional mechanics, eating snacks. I'll tell you about this in a minute. Trying to use this puller to remove a pilot bearing, and it ain't gonna work. So we're gonna get in here and we're gonna stuff this bad boy full of bread, and we're gonna beat the crap out of it.
You're not freaking gluten intolerant.
Gluten intolerant. My bread ain't moist enough.
That was the last time that was an issue. It wasn't super moist.
So you want to know a trick? I found a wheel stud, the flat end of the wheel stud. It's perfect.
That's sick.
Ooh, she's a squirting. We're kind of in there.
Look at that. Looky there.
We're gonna have some cleaning up to do, but
Oh, if you guys were wondering, you don't need no fancy tool. All you need is a loaf of bread.
yeah, well, our fancy tool wouldn't do it, but that did. But hey, when you're running around the track drifting and you smell a delicious, like warm cooked bread smell, now you know what it is. Shake and bake, baby.
Shake it, bake! All right, guys, so we hit a little bit of a roadblock. As you just saw, Josh helped me pull out that automatic pilot bearing. We've got the fresh manual one in, but the roadblock that we've seemed to hit is the flywheel. So as you can see, the flex plate that comes off of the engine for the auto has what I'm guessing to be 360 teeth, because it's all the way around, and maybe more, maybe less. But you see how many teeth that is, and then you come here and look, and there's not as many. So what that does is you got a crank position sensor that goes there, and it's a magnet. So every time a ferrous piece of metal goes by that magnet, it picks it up and it knows that the engine is spinning. So my worry is the ECU is calibrated for this many teeth. I don't know if it's gonna work with how little amount of teeth is on this flywheel. So I'm gonna just loosely pop this flywheel on. It's gonna be tight, but it's not gonna be torque to spec. And we're gonna pop that sensor in there and we're gonna see if it runs. If it runs, great. If not, then we've gotta figure something out because we really wanna try to make this work.
Time to do more sketchy stuff.
Am I good up front?
Yeah, you're clear.
All right. You guys let me know.
Do it. We didn't get like a fireball or nothing. That sucks.
But good news, it cranks.
Yeah, it's gotta.
That's one win. The flywheel teeth
Yeah.
are in the right place.
That works.
But it looks like we're gonna have to do some machining
Yeah.
and we're gonna have to make the flex plate a spacer. So we're gonna have to put the flex plate on, then the flywheel. We're gonna have to machine the backside of the flywheel, the thickness of the flex plate, and then shape these teeth off for those teeth to work. Okay, what I'm putting down?
Yeah, I think if we just take that lip off where those teeth are like machined in, we shouldn't mess with the balance, but really don't want to take too much off of that.
We'll find out.
We will find out.